Research Institute, Andishe Online, Germany, AOG. Themes from the University. Theme 10. Perfection Process. Reincarnation or Ascending Method. Part 2. As already mentioned, reincarnation has two main weaknesses. Firstly, the life of the soul is unlimited in reincarnation. Secondly, after separation from the previous body, the soul can immediately enter the objects or bodies that are at a lower level of soul maturity. This means that, for example, when an animal dies, its soul can immediately enter the body of a flower and thus survive. This theory has two main drawbacks. 1. No living being can exist without a soul, and when an object has a special soul, it is impossible for another free soul to occupy this body because the soul of this body defends itself and, according to the law of loss rejection, repels this invading soul. In this context, it should be noted that the effects of souls on each other are possible but differ from this category. Secondly, an animal soul that has gone through the maturing process of the plant phase does not need to return to this phase, because the path of perfection means the gathering of experience, just like a student who does not need to return to primary school. Even if I assume that such an incarnation is meant in reincarnation theory with the occupation of the soulless body at the moment when the two souls leave the two bodies, the above-mentioned fundamental problem still exists. Basically, a soul from a higher stage has more extensive power and knowledge than the souls belonging to the lower stage. Therefore, returning to the previous situation is absurd and futile, since the Creator has absolute rationality. Moreover, as already mentioned in the first part of the article, this hypothesis lacks a precise definition of the intermediate world and of the specific time axis for this process, which leads to further dilemmas of this theory. Successive lives through ascending method. It should be noted that the aim of this article is to give the public only a superficial understanding of the science that Master Elohi provided in connection with the creation of the universe and its mechanism. Therefore, I will refrain from in-depth scientific discussions and related graphics. To read scientific articles, please refer to our articles in the Integrated Sciences section. By publishing his doctrine of spiritual perfection through the ascending method, Master Elohi has once and for all solved the complex problems discussed above and answered the questions in a reasonable and acceptable manner. Very briefly and in summary, it can be said that in this worldview, each earthly soul is involved in the creation of its own body. The logical, plausible, and scientific reason for this is that at the end of each maturing process, at each stage and phase, this earthly soul collects certain experiences so that it can then separate from this body with the power it has acquired. Now, this soul that has been freed in this way is able, through a special process, to participate in the creation of a new body on a higher level. To do so, however, it must join the special soul group of higher free souls that can receive it. This group of several more or less equal souls forms a new soul with greater power and knowledge. It is important to note that a soul is under no circumstances attracted by a lower level soul or group of souls. This is why we call this process of soul maturation an ascending method that ultimately leads to the creation of a powerful perfect soul, which Master Elohi called the Basharic soul. The phases of the mental perfection process are mineral, plant, animal, basharic, and human phase. Each phase consists of innumerable levels, which the souls have to pass through. The maturing process is therefore continued in sequence, step by step and in phases. Since the souls, for special reasons, among others due to the environmental conditions, run through several parallel paths from the mineral phase on, at the end of the animal phase, under the influence of the 7 creation factors and also other effects, completely different types of basharic or human souls are produced. In the following articles, we will explain and analyze the purpose of the basharic soul. Here we can briefly say that this highly developed earthly soul, together with a soul created directly by God, called the heavenly soul, form a true self, with the basharic soul responsible for biological activities and the heavenly soul responsible for the thought process. The correct and acceptable answer to the question of why human bodies have different natures is also based on the fact that the earthly soul has completed the process of perfection in the manner discussed above. In the next article, we will deal with other features of the process of maturation by the ascending method. End of Part 2. Research and investigation. Farah Mars Tabish. Source: The Ostad Elahi Works.